So make good out of it. Okay, it could be your paper. Okay, so it's how you are going to defend again, because once you're done you have to submit again 3 titles, and I may not be around that time, okay, to defend that what you choose right now as a title may be approved, okay, because there are 3 people around who will be sitting, and it's always ruled by majority. If two will decide that that title will not be postrude, then that will govern. Okay, but it's how you defend. Okay, it's how you reason out. It doesn't mean that when they disagree, when the panel disagree, that they're always correct. It's always subject to your counter argument. Okay, only that most of the students, when the panel say that this is what you're going to do, that's not good. They don't. They just submit. Okay, which is not a good characteristic of a student. You have to insist. Otherwise, you find it difficult really. They may be asking you to do something which may be impossible for you. If you will not complain, if you are not going to defend or explain your side, it may be granted. And take note, it's in record. Okay, there is a somebody who would take note of the activity. Okay, and whatever they suggested in your panel, um, it will be carried, and then on the next meeting that you're going to meet for another step, they're going to ask you whether you comply with the suggestion of everybody. Okay, so if somebody suggested, most most of the time one or two will suggest for a for the betterment of your study. Okay, but if that suggestion would mean it would take you another year of study, or take you another year to do it, then you better insist that you are correct. Or if your advisor doesn't talk, then probably it will be granted and it will be your loss. Okay, so in my case, when I am the advisor, I always insist. If I think that that suggestion would make the research better, then even if it's difficult, I agree with the panel. Okay, so but if the suggestion would mean another year, it would be difficult, okay, by the student, then I would say I insist that it may not be practical for now, because it may take another year for the student to finish it. Okay, so but most of the time they agree with my suggestion, because um, maybe because I am the one who chose the panel. Okay, and yeah, for other reason. Okay, and sometimes they just submit to my comment, but some would really insist, because it's all free. We are actually free to talk anything, and sometimes we agree. Okay, that if the paper, for example, if the student is so in hurry, okay, sometimes it would be annoying, okay, to professors, that if students keep on texting, okay, where's my paper, sir, why did you not sign? Okay, sometimes they get annoyed, and then they just let the student do it for another year. Okay, it's not all about making it. It's not a simple additional arithmetic, that if this is the step, you have nothing to do but to comply. No, sometimes there are times when we are moved by our passion, okay, by sometimes by anger. For example, if students keep on it may not be reasonable at all, then probably the panel will decide um, that maybe the student can take another year, for unless the student will really insist that um, he is correct and there are other valid reasons of doing so. Okay, so that is the unwritten rules. Okay, now, this is based actually on my experience, and this is what I observe. What I'm teaching you is actually the thing that most panel will ask. Okay, the rest are just not so common. Okay, um, in fact, if you only follow what I said or our first and second meeting, everything is already there. The rest are just peripheries. It's not the mainstream of the discussion. Okay, the mainstream are already spoken in our first or second meeting. Okay, and probably this meeting right now would help you again learn, avoid possible questions from the panel. Okay, so this topic is not commonly asked, but for some who are really reading, in my case, I just read probably chapters 2, 3, and it's up to you how to defend in chapters 4 and 5. Okay, but some panel members would really read, okay, from cover to cover. So an even a slight mistake in punctuation, which is very common, would irritate a reader. Okay, would irritate a panel. Sometimes they would say, this is a work of unprofessional, so it will make it difficult, really. So before you present your paper to the panel, make sure it's already proofread. Nothing should be a common error or a simple mistake, like comma, use of comma, and a period. There's no space before period. Most of the writers, okay, they put space and then another, and then they put period. There's no space. Even just a common technical error, if it can be seen, then it's already glaring and it's annoying. Okay, so sometimes you just scan, okay, and they can see the format, the spacing, okay, like two spaces, it's so wide, then it's irritating. Okay, so it's not, they would say it's not a scholarly done. So you better do your work, make it sure it's scholarly done. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to write bibliography. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this one in your Google Classroom. I will resend this one. Okay, so we're going to talk about the APA and the MLA. So what is common, because you are, can you see the document? Is it already shared? Okay. Now the APA that is what we're going to follow, American Psychological Association, while the other one, which we should not be an expert of, the MLA, okay, the Modern Language Association. So we will not talk about MLA, but we only follow APA. So what is that all about? It's actually a style of writing in the bibliography and in citation. Okay. So but for the information of everybody, I would like to read first. It is a style, okay, in manual published by the American Psychological Association. Okay, so this is applicable in health and social sciences. Now, there is a literature. In fact, this is a subject of a debate a long time ago when we divide our department into humanities. At that time, originally, there are only two departments. That was in 2000 year, I think 2005. I was in the department of BPS, okay, and the department, behavioral and political studies department, okay, and we have different department, including the tourism, because at the time we believe that it's under the social, under my department, okay, but later on they moved to another, come up with another department. Okay, so the point there is that there was a time when we divide ourselves in caste to either social science, and right now there are still other move to create another department, And the other one is humanities. Okay, humanities and even PE or kinesthetics. Okay, so the problem we had is we had a research and we found out that even social sciences falling under humanities. Okay, now I'm telling you that because the MLA only includes, okay, arts and humanities, but the APA, American Psychological Association, use health and social sciences. But the origin actually of the humanities, if you read what are those courses falling under it, are actually social sciences. Okay, are actually social sciences. I know it because when we had in an a reclassification of the department, I was thinking of where should we belong. Okay, is it in humanities or social sciences? So, but basically there are the subjects, almost all of the subjects in humanities are also subjects of social sciences. Okay, so but there are now clear distinction in this literature that social sciences are those falling, including public administration, pulsi, okay, anything that if the degree program has more of social sciences, okay, it's falling under social sciences, okay. Another distinction as well, just a background, because there may be a question later on, what's the difference between the degree program of BA, BS and BA. BA meaning most of the subjects are social sciences. BS, most of the subjects, and there are many subjects which are sciences. Okay, so it may not be known to everybody, but I had an extensive research on it before I have to defend the department. Okay, so I may be asked what's the difference between BS and BA in the accreditation. Okay, you know, accreditor sometimes would ask what's the difference. Why are you offering BS? BS psychology. In our school we offer BS psychology, not BA psychology. In other university they offer BA psychology. What's the difference? Okay, so for the information of everybody, the distinction is the number of subjects in BA. There are only few sciences subjects, whereas in BS there are more or less the distinction lies on the offerings of science subjects. Okay, so well, that's the water under the bridge. But what we are talking here about EPA, it only means that those subjects or courses falling under social sciences. Okay, and you know what are these already. Okay, if your course is BE, that's automatic. Okay, automatic. That's arts. Okay, so we will follow this one. Okay, health and social sciences, and I think even nursing also is following FPA style. Okay, so these are actually a style on how to write the references. Okay, in the bibliography and in the citation. Okay, or writing of the reference. Now, if you observe before, when the books in the library has a footnote, right? Okay, so all you have to do is easy, because a long time ago that's what I did when I had my thesis, have to insert a footnote, because at the time we were used to make footnotes. So all you have to do is to insert in the Google Word footnote. In fact, we are still at the time, as early as 2019, we are using WordStar. It's so difficult really to add footnote. Okay, I graduated in the time when I have to use a floppy disk. Okay, so and we have to be very expert in that, because if one mistake in your if you are not an expert in inserting footnote, all of the numbers will be disarranged. Okay, all you have to do is to arrange again all the numbers backward. Okay, for a while my camera is off. I think I'm lost for a while.